Welcome back, everybody. This is Raw and Uncut. We're back today with episode 8. For those of you that have been watching, appreciate you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the feedback. For those of you that haven't been able to catch it yet, keep out one of the episodes. You might like it, you might not. At least give it a chance. What we're doing here is we're just keeping it all the way a buck. That's why it's called Raw and Uncut. That's what I'm doing. I'm spitting some of my childhood stories, some of my stories, the things that I went through in my life when I was a youngster, all the way up until I was in my 40s, all the way till now, late 40s. But I've had a lot of great experiences in the street and things that I was involved in, even in the music. And for those that know I was involved in music for a long time. Never really wanted to be a rapper. Really, I wrote a lot. And what episode 8 is going to be about is an incident. And there was more. There was a couple more like this, but with other rappers that weren't from Fresno, known rappers from San Diego and stuff like that in the Chicano rap game. But we'll get to that stuff on another part. But this time, what I'm saying, it was Fresno, California. There was a show that I was put on. I wasn't really deep into it anymore. It was more so a good friend of mine who happened to be a promoter at the time, Brent Randino, who still is a promoter, but he was doing it pretty heavily back then. And he was promoting a lot of rap shows at the Babylon. And he had put together a show where, what's his name from up in the Bay Area, Rapping Forte, excuse me, I didn't mean to say what's his name, but I couldn't remember it at the time. Not intoxicated, but feeling good, if you know what I mean. And Rapping Forte, a Bay Area legend, was going to headline the show, and he put a bunch of us local dudes on the card as well. I believe Tone Sick was there, Green Mafia. There was a dude by the name of Mr. Gray or something like that. I remember Mr. Gray, and myself, and that was probably a couple other people. It was during the week. It was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, so there wasn't a lot of folks. There wasn't more than 3, 4 folks there to support myself, but I was at the end of it. I wasn't really deep into it anymore. It was doing it more so because I love to do it. So there wasn't really much of a following there for me, other than the 2 people that came with me and a couple of other people I seen there that came to see me, to watch me perform. There was also, along with the performers there and their entourages, like the Green Mafia, they're cool as fuck. They always been cool. I know a few cats in that in that rapper crew or street crew, whatever you want to call them, whatever they are. If I'm getting it wrong, I apologize. But guys like Narcotics and Rest in Peace Statue, Caudillo, and Rocky Oliver, Mr. Homicidal, Tone Sick himself. I met those dudes a few times. They've always been cool with me, always been respectful, and same towards them. Always have nothing but respect for them guys. We crossed paths a few times doing shows at different spots, like in Porterville and in Fresno. But they were there that night, and yeah, we were there having a good show. Everything was cool. If they performed, I performed. Other folks performed. Rapping Forte went up there, killed it. During the time while the show was going on, there was some folks that came through, because it's a show, so people are going to show up there. And there was a bunch of different folks. There was about 60 to 70 people there. I remember sitting at the bar after, actually before I performed. And I went up by myself, no hype man, no nothing. I remember before I went up, about 10 minutes before, some folks came in and went straight to the bar where we were sitting. And it was a crowd of about 5 or 6 of them. I knew who one of them was because I ran into him before. And there's at the time was a big homie of his that was one of my homies, was a mutual friend of us. And he didn't know at the time, but after all this, then he knew. Which a lot of people really didn't connect me to the street like that, because I never was out there gang banging, but I was heavily connected because I was pushing drugs. So I knew people from everywhere. And I'm talking about grew up with folks. I was tight with folks, like a lot of people, because I respected a lot of people. A lot of people respected me. Me and my family, very respectful folks. So, a lot of people, and it's a respect thing. Now, as I went up to perform, I went up there, did my thing. I think I did like about 5 songs or something like that. It was like 20-minute set, something like that. with an intro and a few songs and whatever. Got off, got a few handshakes. People telling me a lot of the Green Mafia, shaking my hand and shit. I think I even took pictures with a couple of them. Really cool dudes, man. Respectful dudes. Got a lot of good energy. They just do their thing. They're juggalos and shit. You don't fuck with them. They won't fuck with you. Um, and then there's a couple other people, and took a picture with a couple other folks. I think my cousin was there. Jay was there, but I think he took off. Like after I performed, I think he was there maybe another 20, 30 minutes. If he was there, I might be confusing it. And I think he left. And we were still there. Well, me and my cousin Pizzo, my cousin Paul, and another homie, Joe, I think was with us. Joe is a person who was awaiting a transplant at the time. And he was more like a photographer for me, but he's a really, really good friend. He's like a brother to me. You know what I mean? Like an older brother. He's family. He was there with us, if I'm not mistaken, as well. But Joe was in no position for an altercation. You know what I'm saying? Me and my cousin, we're sitting at the bar, we're chilling. I'm relatively sober because I got to drive. So I've had like 2 or 3 beers. My cousin Pizzo, he can tie a little bit more on. He had about 5 or 6, but he wasn't drunk or nothing like that. And me and my cousin Pizzo, we drank twice, 3 times that before we go face down without anything. You know what I'm saying? But so everything was pretty normal. But I remember doing the rounds with CDs. I was getting a few CDs of mine off here and there. I was selling a few. I had some TFL CDs. I had some of my CDs. So a few different people, I was getting CDs off. People were coming up to me saying, "Hey, so-so wants to buy a disc." So I'd go over there, I sign it for him, take a picture. I must have sold about maybe 5 or 6 of mine and maybe about 3 of the TFL ones that night. So I didn't, sell a whole lot, but hey, anything you can get off is dope, right? We do it for the love, and anything else that comes from it is extra. When you love the game, you love the art. And like I said, I was never really a rapper. I was a writer, but how I got into it is I always wanted to find someone I could write for and kind of, mold them into something. But it never happened. So I decided to do it on my own and kind of, put some money into it and make some money. So that's why I got in it. I never really cared to be a rapper. It wasn't my dream. It wasn't anything I wanted to do. I never liked my face being up front on nothing. I never liked people looking at me. I never liked to be noticed because I was the one doing doing the game, you know what I mean, to get the money. I was the one hustling in the game to get the money to be able to do all this. So I didn't want to be looked at. I didn't want people looking at me. I didn't want nobody knowing who I was. But then I started putting my face all over these CDs and stuff, and people know who I am before I know who they are. So I don't know if that was what happened that night, but before I went on stage, the folks that I met up with right there, when me and my cousin were sitting in the middle of the bar, just us two right in the middle of the bar, and you can come around through this way in the Babylon, or you can come around through this way. Everybody that's been to the Babylon before knows the way it was constructed inside. You can come in through the main doors and you can walk around that motherfucker and get to wherever you want to go to. There's pool tables way in the back, stage to the left, and there's a bar in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Both sides of it, right? Well, we're sitting in the middle, and before I go on stage, some folks come to the left side. I know who they are. They come right up to us. They're slanging CDs, and it's Legend Loks. And it's Legend Loks, and he's with this girl, I guess it was, and like 2 or 3 of the MMA homies of his, right? A couple of his MMA homies, and you guys, I don't know their names like that. I've only met them a few times through other homies, but that night, that was the first time I had met them. They didn't know me from anything as far as I know, because I didn't know any of them, but I knew who Legend was and Legend knew who I was. So when I seen that they were selling merch, they had like a sack, right? Full of CDs, like a gunny sack or something, almost like a little duffel bag filled with CDs, and Legend was getting his album off. So I called him over. I said, "Hey, what's up, homie?" You know what I'm saying? I'm Rob D. And he says, "I know who you are, man." I said, "Oh, what's up, Legend? Nice to finally meet you." And he's like, "Yeah, you too, dog. Nice to meet you, dog. You know what I mean? I dig your shit." We did that whole thing back and forth, and he didn't introduce us to anyone else that was with them. They were kind of standoffish, kind of just behind them, talking to the female, kind of just watching everything else. They really weren't paying much attention to what me and him were doing because it was cool. And Legend shook my cousin's hand, where my cousin was like, "Hey, what's up, homie?" You know what I mean? It was all love. So then I take out $20 and I say, "Hey, bro, give me 2 of your albums." So he's like, "What, for real?" I was like, "Yeah." So he gets two of them out. He tells the girl, "Hey, give him 2." And she reaches in the bag, she hands me 2, and they were the same album. I just bought 2 of them. So I took one and I gave one to my cousin. Well, here you go. And he's like, oh, thank you for supporting, dog. You know, whatever. I said, hey, yeah, no problem, bro. I'm all for supporting the homies. You know what I mean? That's what it's about, bro. And he's like, yeah, that's what's up, dog. Don't trip. He's like, all right, we're gonna go in the back over there to the pool table. You know what I'm saying? I'll see you later, dog. I said, all right. He goes, you going up right now? I said, yeah, I'm gonna go up right now. He goes, all right, cool. I'll be checking you out, dog. I said, all right, cool, no problem. So he walks off, and you know, me and my cousin get back to our drinking or whatever. And about 10 minutes later, after that, I go up there, do my thing, come off. I'm talking to my cousin Pizzo. He's like, oh, dad, you know, he's telling me, you know, oh, you killed it, that whole thing. Oh, you killed it, dog. You did good. You know, my primo's telling me, other people, like I said, was talking to Green Mafia and Narcotics and all them. You know, chopped it up with them, Mr. Homicidal, Statue, all them, all their crew. And then came over, went back to the bar. Me and my cousin had a couple more beers. Now Rapping Forte's already come off. He's done. The show's done. I've kind of been in and out and all over the place back to, you know, selling my discs. People are asking me for them here and there. So I'm moving, coming out. Well, again, somebody came and hit me up. It was probably close to like 1:30 at the time. And I'm telling my cousin Pizzo, hey, bro, I think it's time we should get out of here. This whole time, now, before I went outside this last time to go serve a disc, we're in the middle of that bar, and Legend, and now even more folks that are with him. He's got like an entourage of like 15, 20 people. If anybody knows how Legend used to roll back then, then they know how he used to roll. But me personally, I never rolled like that. If we went to shows and there was groups of people there that I knew, we still didn't roll like that in an entourage. That's just never my thing. But I understand it, you know, how people roll, and then they're free to roll however they want, and that's how he was rolling. So when I went back out to the front doors, somebody wanted to buy an album out there. So I go out there, I tell my cousin Pizzo, I'll be back in a few minutes, bro. And then maybe we'll get one more before last call and we'll bounce. He's like, all right, cool. And we were talking about what we were going to do afterwards. We're probably going to go back to the ranch and go chill out, right? So I go outside with my little bag with my CDs and stuff. And I'm out front. I'm talking to the promoter, Brent, and a few other people. I get off the CD, I sign it, whatever. And all of a sudden, I'm looking through the doors from the outside right there in front of the Babylon, you know, before you walk up the stairs up there. I'm seeing through the doors. The doors are open, and I can see in, and I'm seeing like people bouncing around, like something's going on. So I'm like, what the fuck? And me and Brent and other folks, hey, let's go in there. What the fuck's happening? So we go around. I see that there's a few of Legend's people that are trying to get at my cousin. It's just me and my cousin. The other homie, Joe, he done bounced already. He left. So it's just me and my cousin there, just us two. And so when I go in and I see what's going on, I'm like, hey, what the fuck's happening? You know, so I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? You know, I'm telling Legend, hey, what's up? And he don't want to say nothing to me. He's just kind of backing up, ignoring me. And I'm telling my cousin, hey, what's up? We're trying to get in the middle because they're yelling and stuff like that. And Legend and my cousin were arguing, and a couple of Legend's boys are like trying to get at my cousin. And like, so we're all in the middle of that. And I'm trying to figure out what's going on. And my cousin's telling me, fuck them, Rob. They were talking shit about you, Rob. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, they were talking shit about you, fool. I said, what happened? He said they were standing right there. I took off, left him there by himself. The dudes because the entourage had grew, there's not only 5 or 6 anymore, there's about 15, 20 cats. And they're at the edge of the bar. And I guess they wanted to move more in and didn't tell I had my beer still up there, didn't tell my cousin, hey, bro, you know, is it cool if we slide over? Because there's a lot of us, you know what I'm saying? And if you guys, you know, is it cool if we slide over and take this? If you guys can let us slide in or ask anything. What they did was, according to my cousin, when he starts telling me, they just went in and like try to bogart him out of the way. And he's like, hey, bro, my beer's right there. And they're like, oh, you know, basically they don't care. They're like, oh, whatever, we don't give a fuck. And my cousin's like, hey, you know, it's my fucking beer. And Legend got in his face and was like, you know, whatever. But while that was happening, right before that, when they tried to bogart, my cousin was already having words with one of the other dudes and Legend because they were talking shit about me, about my performance or whatever. And my cousin told them, they're like, oh, my bad. I got to backtrack a little bit. I remember now exactly everything. When I came off the stage, he had told me he wanted to tell me something. My cousin did, but people were calling me for pictures and CD, whatever. So he never got a chance to tell me. And it kind of just faded away. And I seen him pissed off and didn't know what was going on. So when I went outside, all this happened and I come back in. And he said, remember, I was trying to tell you earlier, but everything, you got busy over here and all that. So yeah, he goes, these fools were talking shit about you, Rob. And then he's arguing back and there's a bunch of people in the middle. It's a big old, it's chaotic. There's noise and shit. We get pushed out. Me and him get pushed out by the crowd. So many people, they start pushing everybody out of the Babylon because they want everybody to leave because shit's about to fucking break loose. So when they push us out to the front, we're standing outside the doors with our backs against the brick wall. And now there's a crowd of people trying to get at me and my cousin. And they're in our faces and they're like, man, fuck, I don't know who none of these people are. And there was this one bigger dude who got up in my face and he was like, I'll break your motherfucking face. I'm like, bro, I don't even know who the fuck you are. Why are you getting at me for it? I ain't done shit to you. And he's like, I don't give a fuck, homeboy. I'll break your motherfucking face. And I'm like, do whatever you're gonna do, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's 20 of you motherfuckers, only us two. The problem was between my cousin and Legend. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. So my cousin's on the side. Well, this is going on. Me and Dude are arguing. I don't know who this dude is, but I'll tell you who he is in a little bit. How I found out who he was later. I didn't know who he was. I never seen him, never heard him, nothing. While this is going on, there's people surrounding me over here. My cousin's right here barking at Legend, who's coming out of the club behind this dude that was in my face and other people, and he's standing kind of 10, 15 feet away from us in the distance with the girl and the bag. And my cousin's yelling at him because he had long hair at the time. Legend had long hair at the time. So my cousin's yelling at him, hey, motherfucker, what's up with me? You one-on-one, motherfucker. Why you gotta need all these fools in your business? Handle your business, you know, you're a man, right? And dude's in my face, somebody's gonna break my face. All this, I'm watching that. My cousin's like, man, fuck that. We're all arguing right there. And my cousin tells Legend, what's up, you long haired, excuse my language, but I can't say the word, but long haired fog hat, let's say that. My cousin tells him, what's up, you long haired fog hat? Why don't you handle your business like a man? You got all these fools trying to jump us right here. He hears my cousin, turns around and walks, says something to his girl, goes up the stairs and bounces. And we're just surrounded by about 10 to 12 black men who I don't even know who they are. Obviously, they're part of Legend's crew, but I didn't know who they were personally. Like, I never seen them before. I didn't know any of these cats, and they're provoking us. They're talking shit. They're trying to get us out to the parking lot. And again, come on to the parking lot, motherfucker. We'll hand it out there. I said, bro, I'm from Fresno. I ain't stupid. Me and my cousin was mad. He wanted to go. I said, no. I kept grabbing him. Pizzo, no, you can't go out there, bro. We're not going to be stupid. You know what happens when we go to that parking lot, bro. Do not move right here. Security's in our face, too, because security's with them. They're their boys, right? These MMA guys that were working security, I don't know who they were. They were in our face, too, telling us to get the fuck out of in front of the Babylon. And telling us that why don't we pop our shit up there in the parking lot? Go pop that shit in the parking lot. I said, pop what shit, bro? All the shit you were talking right now. I said, to who? I ain't said shit to nobody. I came up in here and I was trying to figure out what the fuck happened. There was an argument ensuing between Legend and my cousin, and all these other people got involved, and they're just two of us. You know how it goes sometimes. I ain't trying to paint no picture. I ain't trying to make nobody feel sorry for us. I'm just telling you exactly what happened. And some people might be like, well, who gives a fuck? And then it don't matter. Look, this is my motherfucking story. These are my stories and things that I went through, and I want to share them with people. Whatever your opinion is after that, hey, you're entitled to it. You know what I'm saying? Personally, I don't know anybody here, and I didn't have a beef with anyone, but some things happened there. And so all that happened, they're cussing at us, trying to get us out to the parking lot. Dude's back in my face, this big black dude. I don't know who he is, a light-skinned black dude, kind of light. I didn't know who he was at the time. And I'm like, who's this dude that keeps getting in my face? And I'm just telling him, hey, bro. He's like, I'll break your face. I said, hey, bro, do what you want to do. I said, but I'm not moving. Because he's like, they're trying, him and security and other people are telling us that if we don't move and go up the steps and go to the parking lot, that we're basically going to get fucked up here or they're going to cuff us and call the cops or some shit like that about we're not trying to leave the venue or whatever the fuck. And I told the security, I said, look, bro, I'm not going up there, and my cousin's not going up there because I know what the fuck's going to happen. We're either going to get shot in the parking lot or we're going to get jumped, and I ain't going to fucking allow that shit to happen. I'm smarter than that. And so they're all mad in our face and shit like that. Legend is gone. He's not even there anymore. He's bounced. So all this shit's still going on. Brent finally comes out. He's trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. He's like, damn, Rob, you know, I'm sorry, bro. I'm like, no, you don't got to be sorry. Brent's like, nah, bro, because you guys are cool. I don't know what's going on. I said, bro, it's just disrespect that's going on right now. Earlier in the day, the night when I seen Legend, he was cool. He was whatever, but he had a few drinks and his face changed and he was different when I seen him mobbing through there again and way up in the back shooting pool. And he would come back and forth to the bar getting drinks, and then he wouldn't acknowledge me anymore. So I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't pay no mind to it. I didn't know anything was going to come of it because I wasn't doing anything to disrespect anyone when I already had showed the dude love and respect by buying 2 of his albums. So all this is happening. They're in our face of security. That dude, another little dude over here on the side trying to talk little ass like 18-year-old kid trying to talk shit to my cousin. I'm like, man, bro. I told him, I guess it pissed dude off over here too. I told that little youngster, I guess it was his homie or family. I said, hey, bro, your little ass, my cousin will eat your little ass up for breakfast, bro. So if I was you, I'd just back the fuck up. And dude's, man, motherfucker, I'll kick your motherfucking ass. We'll do this, we'll do that. I said, I'm not saying you won't, but you ain't gonna do it right now, bro, because we're not leaving up to the parking lot. So long story short, we didn't leave to the parking lot. They end up making them leave because I said, we're not leaving till they fucking leave. My phone was dead. My other primo's phone was dead. We couldn't call nobody. We couldn't do nothing. So we were stuck because the thing was, I had people to call. And it's good that I wasn't able to get to my phone, that it was dead. It was good that it was dead, that we couldn't get to a phone. That's the thing, because I had motherfuckers to call. And Legend was rolling with folks at that time that had beef, major beef with folks that I knew. But I never got in the middle of it. I never spoke up about it. I never connected any dots of it between anyone, because that's not the lane I was in. But I knew people, and they knew me, and they knew people in the game and told me, hey, you know, watch out for this, watch out for that. Plus, I got my family in the game. So if I would have been able to use the phone, or my primo would have been able to use his phone, which they were both dead, and we could have called people while this shit was going on, and we were arguing out there, it would have been a melee out there. Because once we would have evened up the score, I wouldn't have stood there arguing with nobody. Then I would have just started swinging. Because now we got, hey, it's even now. Even if we had 5 motherfuckers there, we would have started squabbling, because at least we're going to get something. But I'm not going to be stupid and get jumped by fucking 15, 20 motherfuckers, and it's just 2 of us where we're going to get stomped out and possibly killed. I ain't stupid. And then at the top of that, to top that shit off, there's no reason for it. There was no reason for the disrespect. So after everybody left and we finally were able to jump in the car and leave, there was nobody there. We left. There was people outside that were in there when altercation happened. There were nobodies that were watching still and everything like that at the parking lot, saying, hey, man, you know, I'm glad you guys got out of there. There was a lot of them. Like, it's all good, bro. We're good. I ain't tripping. And we left. After that, my cousin was still angry about it. And I was pissed how Legend and his folks came at us, and how they were disrespecting my primo at the bar. It was Legend disrespecting my primo at the bar, try to push him out the way to take over the spot, and have been talking shit about me while I was on stage. So I'm like, all right, I know how to get a hold of this cat. So I went doing some research. There was other people there that were at the show that night. And I asked them, hey, who was the dude that was getting in my face? Because I didn't know who he was. And they told me his name was Mac Hard. These guys are very well known in the city and very well respected. I never met the dudes up until that point. Never knew about them, never heard about them. It doesn't mean that they ain't anyone. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, to my knowledge, I had never met any of them. And I was like on my way out of certain things at that time. I didn't know who they were, never met them, never had a word with them, let alone disrespect anybody. When you really come from the street, that's the problem with the street, is it ain't what it used to be. And I saw that night. It used to be about respect, but people get to where the ego's involved, or they get some alcohol in them, and they start acting different. So immediately after that, when I got home and I was able to charge my phone, I turned my phone on. I went on social media and I went to Facebook, because Legend was a friend of mine on Facebook. And I went to Messenger and I sent him a message. And this was in 2012, 2011, might have been 2013. Brent would know better than me. As a matter of fact, I just shared a memory on Facebook earlier today, it might have been. And this was Fresno, California at the Babylon. And, you know, what's his name was there? Rapping Forte, one of the Bay Area legends. But so went to social media, went to Messenger, and I sent a message to Legend. And it was along the lines of this: hey, bro, you know, I never disrespected you. I showed you love. I was cool with you. My cousin told me that when I was on stage, you were talking shit about me back and forth. You were laughing about something. And he wanted to get in your ass then, but he didn't want to fuck the show up for me. So I come off stage and you're acting kind of weird, going back and forth to the bar. You're acting like you don't know us anymore. Now your crowd's done. You got about 20 folks with you. And all that happens late when everything's gonna close up. You start trying to push my cousin out the way. You were running your mouth to my cousin. My cousin got pissed and he was like, "Hey, you ain't gonna be talking shit about my cousin, And you didn't know he was gonna take up like that for me because he was outnumbered by himself because I was outside. And he's by himself with about 15 to 20 of you guys. So when he told you that I was his cousin and then you weren't going to talk about me like that, and why you trying to push him away out of the bar when his beer's right there, that who the fuck you guys think you are? You were like, you don't know who the fuck I am, motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And that's when everything happened. So I told him all that. And I said, I was straight up with you, bro. I ain't got an issue with you. Before that, my cousin's got a bigger issue with you now. I don't know none of who of them other cats that got involved when it was just us two. We didn't disrespect nobody, and everybody had to take up for you like that. I had to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying, that nobody's gonna touch you and all that. Like, you're Mr. Untouchable. But my cousin wants to go head up with you. He said to let me know whatever corner you want to meet at and what time you want to meet at. You bring whoever you want to bring with you. We'll bring whoever we want to bring with us. And you and him are gonna go heads up because he don't respect the way that you acted that night and how you disrespected me and him and how you almost got both of us jumped and possibly killed that night. And then when he called you out outside and called you a long-haired fog hat, you heard him, turned your back and left your beef with these cats that we didn't even know, which this is shit like this in the streets happens all the time nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Happens all the time. Even back then happened and probably before, but mainly there used to be a code of real motherfuckers in the street. You didn't do that to folks. If you had a problem, you ran a straight up one-on-one unless somebody pulled weapons. That's different. That's different. So all this happens. I sent him that message. The next morning, I got a reply. I told him my cousin wanted to meet up with him. My cousin wanted a one-on-one fade with him, whatever. He sent me a message the next morning. I had another cousin trying to was trying to moderate too, but I told him I didn't need him to, that I already was doing it on my own. Dude tells my cousin who was messaging my other cousin was messaging him as well because he kind of knew him through the music game, right? Well, I'm messaging him at the same time, and he tells me straight up that he apologizes that he was drunk and he doesn't really remember what happened and that he didn't want no beef, that everything was cool. And I said, what the fuck? I read it and I told my cousin Pizzo, hey, this is what's up. This is what he said. And he's like, fuck that. You tell that motherfucker when I see him, it's on. And so I messaged him. I said, all right, it's whatever, bro. But my cousin said when he sees you, it's on. Period. So after that, I did some motherfucking research on who these people were, right? Asked some questions and stuff. And like I said, the dude that got up in my face and was talking about he was going to break my face, they call him Mac Hard. And that's, everybody, they know who he is. He's very well known in the town. He's got good music. He's got a good rep in the street. I don't know the dude personally. Never met the guy before that or after that. But he was up in my face and he really, really wanted to hit me. I hadn't done shit. And people are gonna be like, that's the streets, bro. I know, I'm from the streets. But they rolled up, they saw the love I shared to him. We're supposed to be all from the same streets, right? And we're in the music game, and there's supposed to be a mutual respect there. So me personally, I wouldn't be getting up, and this is just the way that I wouldn't be getting up in some random motherfucker's face that I don't even know. That's the key there. I don't even know. And this is all the way bad. Why would you want to connect yourself to something that's bad? I understand if you fuck with somebody, you fuck with somebody, but the repercussions that could come from things like that is fucked up. And somebody could be like, oh, but nothing happened. Exactly. Nothing did happen because nothing happened to us. Because there was no hands put on us because Fresno is a very small place. And I'm not threatening nobody, and it's a long time ago, and it's nothing like that. But what I'm saying is a bigger problem was just averted. It was a bigger problem was stopped before it even started because there was no need for any of that. There was no need for any of that, right? Now, like I said, I never met the dude before Mac Hard. Before that or after that, never had an issue with him. I didn't understand why he was so angry at me. I didn't understand why he was trying to pick me to go at. I didn't understand why the other few were behind them were eyeing me as well. And I didn't understand why they were eyeing my cousin when the disrespect came from that side. So you telling me people really think they could just push people around that they don't know? Just like Legend knew people, I know tons of people. You know what I'm saying? But me and Legend Loks are 10 years apart in age. The people that I know are motherfuckers that he looked up to, that he called his big homies, were my homies that I know from the game for many, many years, from the streets and different parts of different apartment complexes and parts of the town when folks were set up or whatever. And you know a lot of people. You know, you grow up with certain folks, they know certain folks, and you're part of a certain thing. You meet certain people and you know certain people. And it's like a spider web, like I said before. So my thing was I was really more pissed off at Legend, but I was like, that was disrespectful after I showed him love for everything to happen like that. For him to say the things that he said to my cousin about me, and my cousin was like, "Hey, I want to get in this fool's ass already, bro, but I don't want." I just looked at him, he turned away and walked off with his homies back over there to the pool table. And I took a sip of my beer because I know my cousin Pizzo. He can't. We've been in so many fucking bar fights and club fights or whatever. My cousin Pizzo can't hold this shit. And he did it because he didn't want to fuck anything up for me. But after they tried to push him away from the bar, my cousin had a bone to pick. You know what I'm saying? And it was just one of him and one of me. And we were outnumbered. I'm glad nothing happened. Because if something would have happened to us, there would have been a lot of people, a lot of motherfuckers from all over the town. Not just Mexican, but black folks too, and white folks. They would have been involved in that. And it would have been real ugly on both sides. Because hey, bottom line, if you're a real motherfucker from Fresno and you're connected to people from Fresno, those folks don't play no matter what side you're from. The motherfuckers don't play anywhere. So I'm not saying that we would have got the best of anybody or they would have got the best of us, but I'm saying a lot of shit could have happened from that. And it was all derived from folks being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Folks being disrespectful. And for me, the cat that was in my face, Mac Hart, when I found out who he was and I looked him up, I liked some of his music. I was like, yeah, the dude's, he's dope. You know what I mean? He's got a good sound, good look. He's being himself and all that. And I was like, it's all good. I ain't gonna hate on the dude. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna trip on him because he don't know me like that, and I don't know him. And it's one of those things, man, where I think not because I'm anybody or like, oh, you know, you gotta bow down to me. No, not at all. But I think if he would have knew who I was and certain people had told him who I was, I can guarantee he wouldn't approach me like that. I think he would approach me as a man of respect. And I think he would have been talking like, hey, dog, you know, we need to figure this out. Because in every other situation with any reputable person from any side of Fresno that I've ever been involved with, that's the way that we always conducted business anywhere, especially out in public. You know, like men, like gentlemen, especially when there ain't no real legitimate beef there. What's the point of it? You know what I'm saying? What's the point of it? I ain't never stole nothing from him. He ain't never stole nothing from me. I ain't never said nothing bad about the dude. He ain't never said nothing. We don't know each other like that. There's no legitimate beef there. And so I just always was like, I never took it personal. I took it more as he's taking up for his homie, and that's the way it is. And I'd probably be taking up for my homie too. But if somebody's in the wrong, I would have been telling my homie, hey, bro, that ain't cool. You can't be doing that shit to people, running your mouth about another rapper. And when he just showed you love and you're over there talking, you know, first you shook his hand and everything earlier, took his money, but then later on when you got a buzz, you're like, fuck that dude. Like, who does that shit, bro? You know what I'm saying? Like, who does that shit for real? That was my altercation with them cats. Legend Loks, Mac Hard, and all their entourage of MMA fighters and homies and some girls and stuff like that. Yeah, man. And it was like, you know, I'm glad that we couldn't get to our phones and they were dead, because then once my brothers and cousins and homeboys show up, there wasn't going to be no talking. It was going to be with the business right there, right in front of the club and inside the club. You see what I'm saying? It was gonna be on. And when we got home, there was a lot of folks that found out about it and were pissed and wanted to go look for people. But I kept it diplomatic and said, hey, we ain't gonna stretch this out to these other folks. They didn't know what they were doing. It's whatever. We don't need to go get at these motherfuckers. Just They don't even give a fuck. To them, it's nothing. It's another day at the office. They went and they got in some dudes' faces and they pumped fear is what they thought. So we didn't have to go and say, hey, we're going to go after a whole side of people. Who started it? Who did I show the love to? Legend. Who started it? Legend. My cousin went after him to get that fade for me, being that him and Legend are the same age, and I'm older, a few years older than my cousin. My cousin was like, I'll deal with this fool. Legend didn't want no part of it. And that's facts. And many people were there and many people seen it. The promoters seen it, other rappers that were there seen it, his own homeboys seen it. So that's what I never understood. Where I came from in the era I'm from, we didn't fuck with folks like that. They would start shit and then leave it to everyone else to deal with it. But I guess they were trying to treat him as some kind of like rap king or some kind of like street king or some shit. And that wasn't the case at that time. You know what I'm saying? There's many motherfuckers that are about that life from Fresno. And I'm not saying he wasn't about that life, but at that time, he was not about that fade. That one-on-one fade with my cousin, he was not about it. It's old news now. We're older now, but it's a story that when it comes to the town and rappers and local rappers, I've got some stories to tell. And it's not to dig up old wounds. It's not to start beef now or to piss people off because I've got issues with nobody. I've never done anything to anybody. They've never done anything to me personally. I'm mature enough not to make a stupid decision where a lot of fucking blood, sweat, and tears get spilled over nothing, over somebody that wants to be drunk. So, you got homies that are like, hey, dog, I'll go do this. I know who they are. I know where they're at. Nah, bro, we don't got to do none of that. Dude caused the problem. He was drunk. He wanted to run his mouth. My cousin wants to get at him because he disrespected him. It was man to man. Let them two handle it. I reached out for the fade. He declined. One of his older big homies that I knew about the whole situation when it happened and was pissed that he declined the fade. And a few months after that, they were no longer talking to each other. And so stuff like that, I'm not here to talk bad on anyone, and I'm not trying to target anyone. I'm just telling a story. My altercation with two Fresno rappers that are very well known and respected. And I know some folks are going to take this and be like, oh, there was this guy on YouTube talking shit. He was talking shit. That Rod D was talking shit. No, man, talking shit is sitting up here hating or sitting up here throwing smut on people's name. And I'm not doing that. All I'm doing is telling my experience of when I did that show at the Babylon, when Rapid Forte headline, Green Mafia was there, other folks were there. We had a little situation with Legend Loks and his little entourage. And I showed him nothing but love that night. Shook his hand, bought 2 albums from him. He was telling me about some people that he knew that I knew and vice versa. I know, so yeah, you know what I'm saying? He knew who I was because when he shook my hand, I said, what's up, bro? This is Rob D. He said, I know who you are. You see what I'm saying? Many people did, whether they admit it or not. Many people know who I am and who I was in my little bubble and just the reputation that I had as a person. I'm a good dude. I'm a solid dude. I don't do people wrong, and I treat people with respect. And if they treat me with respect, cool. If they don't, I don't fuck with them. I stay away from them. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was my altercation with two well-known Fresno rappers. And I'm glad nothing ever came from that. And I'm glad it died there. And I'm glad that, however the outcome could have been, I'm glad that it wasn't that. And I'm glad it's just what I'm telling you now. That it was just, a group of dudes that didn't know us, but they're taking up for their homie and they're trying to ride for their homie. And I know how that is. But at the same time, the head of the snake is where the poison's at. So that's why I got at the head of the snake, because he caused it all. And he didn't want to fade with my cousin. And that's what it was, no matter what. Everybody's seen that. Everybody's seen that when my cousin insulted him right there when he was leaving. Because he's the one who started everything, but he's leaving us with all these people. We don't even know any of them, and they're trying to fuck us up, trying to hurt us, possibly shoot us, whatever the fuck. Because we're outnumbered, and I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck if you're Hulk Hogan. I don't give a fuck if you're Jean-Claude Van Damme. If there's 15, 20 motherfucking dudes, you're going to go down. You're outnumbered. So, I'm glad nothing happened. I'm glad none of us got hurt. None of them got hurt. I'm glad nothing came from it. But that was just, my latest episode, episode 8. My altercation with two well-known Fresno rappers, Mac Hard and Legend Loks. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, never saw Mac Hard before or after that. I never had no beef with the dude. As far as I'm concerned, he didn't even know who the fuck I was. That's fine. It's cool. I'm glad that he did it. But I wish he would have known, because then that other shit that happened would have never happened and it would have been smoother. But things happen and everyone's got a path. We all walk that path and we step in it and we own it. And yeah, that's what it is. So to all those watching, to all those that have take their time to peep out the channel and peep out my content, I appreciate you very much. I'm gonna do more little by little to upgrade stuff. This is just a little quick setup right now that I've been messing with and kind of toying with. We're gonna upgrade little by little, and we're just gonna keep rolling. I got so much to talk about. It's never ending. It's all real. It's my life. It's my life experiences, all spit through my, through my viewpoint, through my point of view, through, I mean, how I live things and everything I saw and everything I was involved in, and that's all I'm doing here. Raw and uncut, keeping it raw and uncut. You got an opinion, good or bad? Leave it in the comments. Whether you like the video, dislike the video, go ahead, do what you got to do. Appreciate you for watching. You guys hope you guys have a great weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm gonna be at you this weekend with a couple more videos, and you know how it goes. You know what it is, raw and uncut, and I'm out.